He's larger than life. He'll give you strife. He's Todd. He's tall, he's mean. He's labeling machine. He's Todd. Rides a motorbike. He'll tell you what it's like. He's Todd. Don't know what he'll say. He'll scare the kids away. He's Todd. He's Todd.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. It's great to be back. It's been a couple of weeks, and I've been a busy beaver. You gotta be careful how you say that. But anyway, went to Tampa actually, and went to a big ADI National Sales Conference. So that was it's a long damn flight. Southern California. So anyway, it's good to be back. We had a great show. I did get some footage while I was there, and same kind of thing that we do at Bixie, and I'll go into Bixie in a second. But I interviewed a bunch of people out there, and I got the Sonos guy. And man, I love Sonos. I got this stuff anywhere or everywhere, and got him. Really doesn't pertain a whole lot to labeling. I guess you got to label the your resident wires, but anyway, got a nice little interview with him. Hoping to get some freebies, but it didn't work nonetheless. Good guy, but great to be back. Speaking of Bixie, we got a big show coming up on February 7th. And I got a bunch of guests coming. I mean, a bunch of guests. So I would imagine the show is probably going to be an hour. And I think we're in booth 215, if I'm correct, down on the end, right across from the Cabling Skills Challenge. So those that are going to Bixie, come by, say hi. And then we're going to film on February 7th at around 5 p.m. Eastern time. And Kate's got a bunch of great T-shirts. Wait till you see these T-shirts. They're good. They're really good, and they kind of exemplify what the tone in Orlando coming up. So anyway, my guest today, who will also be my guest in Bixie. All right, my guests today are with AEM, and I know they've been on a couple of times, and as far as their testing and certification. And originally we did it with our app called iLink and Label. And you know what? It was fairly simple at the time, where you would load a database into our PTE 550W right here. But now we got a new app, and it's even easier than it was before. And so I'm going to show you just a minute or two of the app. And then we're going to get right into the meat of things, and we'll invite Lisa and Steve on here in a second, and we're going to go through the process. So the whole process now is really, you're not going to even handle the printer other than to turn the power on and off. Everything is done by the app. And one of the cool things of the app, I've got a few issues, and we're working those issues out right now. But one of the coolest feature about this is that you can do everything on the app itself and hit print, and then it prints to the printer. But not only so, before it was limited to the PTE 550W. So now what you can do is you can actually print to any of our Wi-Fi enabled printers. So I've got the PTP 950 up here right now. I've got the lunchbox back here, the PTE 800W. So where it was limited to this, now you can do what Steve and I are going to show you on all these printers you see right here. Plus, there's a couple more too. So any Wi-Fi enabled printer, you can use it on. So Kate, could you bring up that app? I'm just going to show you what the app looks like. Here's the app. I'm telling you, I'm not a fan of the way it looks. It looks a little cartoonish, a little Cro-Magnon, if you will. It's got a little 70s vibe to it, but you know, the looks here can be deceiving. All right. And the app itself, I hope to God this works. The last time we tried to do this in Colorado was a huge failure, story of my life. Just ask my previous wives. All right. But anyway, nonetheless, is that it doesn't look good. All right, and I'll be honest with you. But the functionality is fantastic. So anything that you can do as we're looking at this thing, anything that you can do on the printer, self-laminating, cable wrap, heat shrink tube, you got your flags. We do have some new die cut flags that we'll be talking about at Bixie. We got your patch panels here. We have your faceplates, your punch down blocks, safety signage. So in other words, on the safety signage here, you have all these different templates, okay? And you can actually edit these templates. So if I tap on this right here, I can even speak to it. Watch this. BS with Todd. BS with Todd. You rat. So I'm doing something wrong already. Anyway, it'll say BS with Todd. You can type in whatever you want. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to sit here and argue with my phone. All right. But it's kind of cool with all the templates. The other thing that we did that we got a big ask for is barcodes, all right? Specifically QR codes, all right? And so the cool thing about this is that you can edit the barcodes, you can edit the QR codes, and then you can print them out. Before, you couldn't do that, all right? The barcodes were not, well, some of the barcodes are built into the printers, but now there's a big push now for QR codes. And so those are in there as well. There's things like tool IDs and asset management and stuff like that, but we're not going to talk about that today, all right? We're going to talk about basically using a database, and that same database that you're going to pre-fill the AEM unit for prior to going out in the field. You're going to load that database in there. And because I can remember the old days of sitting inside a closet and having to punch every port into that certifier or tester. And so we built a better mousetrap, and it started with AEM building a better mousetrap. And then obviously I'm riding their coattails at this point. And so we figured out a way to make this thing work together. And what that means for everyone out there is an increased rate of productivity. And again, time is money, right? Time is money, all right? And so we're going to save you a bunch of time and money on this. And that's without further ado, all right, let's bring on Kate, if you will. Let's bring on Lisa Schwartz and Mr. Stephen Cowles. And they both have been on my show several times. As well as interviewed with me at Bixie, and you guys are fan favorites. I got to tell you that right now. And your product is a fan favorite, all right? So, you know,
Awesome.
we got the perspective here. But thank you, Lisa, coming from Colorado, and Stephen, you're coming from, I want to say, Florida.
Yep, I'm in Orlando.
I'll be damned. All right, I got it right. Holy hell. All right, something's working today. So anyway, I want to thank you very much. I know, basically talking to Kate earlier, it's very, very, very cold in Colorado. And Stephen was saying earlier that it's kind of nippy in Orlando. And speaking of Orlando, we got Bixie coming up. Okay. By the way, I think we're in 215. What booth you all in at Bixie?
We are in 820, right across from the beer and wine and food.
Yeah.
Nice. And our booth's in Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, guess who's going to be hanging out near booth 820? Because I think I looked on the map, and there's really no beer and food anywhere close. But nonetheless, you'll see a lot of this face near the booth. And I look
good.
You guys at me on February 7th, right, around 5 o'clock
We'll be there.
Eastern time. Thank you. It's gonna be great to see you. We always have a good time when we get together. We really do.
We do.
And so this is the start of a series, and we've made a bunch of collaborations, and this is the start of series. And later on down the road, folks, watch your calendars. I'm going to have some more of our collaborative efforts, some guests on, but AEM's going to kick this thing off. And so anyway, it worked with the iLincoln label, but we're cutting out a step. And the iLincoln label was a throughput to take that database, and Stephen's going to take over the helm here in a minute and show how that's all done, but really take that database and connect the phone to the 550W right here, right, and dumping that database into the unit. Now, with the new Pro Label tool, I call it PLT, genius, right? You're basically just using the app itself. And we're going to run through the whole thing just to give you an idea of how freaking easy it is to make this happen. So anyway, without further ado, Stephen, and before, well, I'll ask you at the end of this thing, but anyway, Stephen, why don't you talk a little bit about the database capabilities of the unit, and then we'll go and show the folks how to print from that database. So you're on.
All right, sounds good. So I'm going to show you. I've got my tester sitting here. This is my main unit for my Test Pro multifunction certifier. The remote unit's off screen, and I'm connected to my PC so you can actually see my display so we can see what's going on. So there's a couple ways you can get labels into the Test Pro. So one is you can go into the project itself and you can manually enter. You put a starting label and an ending label, and it'll fill in everything sequentially in between. But a better way to do it is to go ahead and create that in a CSV file ahead of time. Then you can share it with your brother printing tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull up an Excel file here. So I've created this label scheme, and it's a CSV, and it's just a single column. I've just kept it short, just got 6 labels here. You can see it's the last 2 digits are in sequence here. So we go 01 through 06. So that is the file that I have created that I want to bring over to my project. So I'm going to close that Excel file. I'm going to open up my Test Data Pro PC software, which is the results management software, but it has a lot of other functions as well, including updating your tester and importing custom labels, which is what we're going to do right here. So I've got a USB thumb drive in my computer. I'm going to click on Import Custom Label, and now I'm going to choose that label. So here's my label file, BS Labels. I'm going to select that. I'm going to click open. You like that name, Todd? I've selected the BS labels. Now I have to tell the program where I want to deposit my custom labels. I'm going to go to E, that's the thumb drive. I'm going to click OK. And now it says it has been created. So I'm going to open up my Explorer file here and click on my E drive. And I see here I've got a folder called Custom Label that was created by the Test Data Pro software, and it deposited that file into that folder. So I'm just going to close that. And now I'm going to remove the thumb drive from my computer, and I'm going to insert it into the USB port on the side of my Test Pro main unit here. If I can line it up. So we've inserted, and a USB menu will now pop up, and you've got options here. So if I wanted to copy any saved test results, I could do that, but we're here to import labels. So I'm just going to click Import Label List. If I had multiple label lists on here, I can just choose the one I want. So I'm just going to select BS Labels. I'm going to click Yes, and it's done. I'm going to just X out of that. I'll just hit my home button on my Test Pro main unit here, and I'll remove that thumb drive. So now the labels are in the unit. Now I have to assign them to this project. So I'm going to click on my BS with Todd project. I'm going to go to Edit Test Profile. And here we see all the project settings. This is where you would come in and change any of your test parameters. If you're testing something other than 6/8 channel, you change that, change your cable, all that good stuff. We're going to look at the label. So I'll go to Label Scheme. Right now it's a simple label, just A001 to A999. I'm going to click Edit. And there's my BS labels. That's the one I want. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to click Save. And there we see the label scheme. So we've got that in the project now. So I'll hit my home button again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a test. So I'm going to connect. I've got cable from my remote unit running into this port on the patch panel. I've got some cable loop behind here. I'm going to plug the other end of the cord from my Test Pro into that link, and you'll see I immediately get a wire map. It's what we call live wire map. I've got the same thing on my remote unit. You see this on both ends. We're going to go ahead and run our auto test. Now we're running an auto test in 6 seconds flat. This is Cat 6A, but it also includes all those plus parameters, TCL, ELTCTL, DC resistance unbalance in 6 seconds. So here we see our test results. We passed, thank goodness. That means I did a halfway decent job of wiring it. I can look at any of the test details I want to, but we're here to talk about labels. So I'm going to click save. And here's my label scheme. That's the same one we just imported. I click save, and it's going to save that first test. Now we can pretend I moved to another cable, run another test, since it only takes 6 seconds. And we'll see that when we go to save this next test, it is going to increment to the next label in the sequence. So we see that that first one shows a pass. We already saved that. We've incremented to the second one. We're just going to click save. And it really is as simple as that. So we want to take that same label database and we want to get it to the printer. Now, you mentioned the old app. I can remember the old app. I would, import it. I'd email it to myself. I'd import it into the app. Then I would have to push it from the app into the tester and then manipulate everything, or not the tester, but the label printing tool. And then I would print my labels from the label printing tool. I think what you've got now, and I just emailed you the file, so you'll have it, and we'll be able to switch over to you, so you can show this this file, the same file that I just used, and people can see you generate labels with that. Much simpler because you're doing everything straight from the app. So you've taken that step out, and while the labeling tool is simple to use, I think generating it from the app and just sending it to the printer, it's just so much easier, at least in my opinion.
Well, I think the future of labeling, and I've been very vocal, with my team. I really think the future of labeling is kind of what we're going to demonstrate here today. And right now, you have some larger handheld printers that you have to go out in the field, but and it's not new technology, but I basically see where Wi-Fi and Bluetooth or any radio is permitted. I see everything being done off of, the apps, right? And whether it be serialization, which before you had to physically have the printer and serialize, right? And what you're doing, Steve, on your software is essentially you're serializing. You put in your first port identifier, you tell it, from 1 to 99, and it builds a whole job for you. So that's serialization. And in the past, you can only do it on the actual printer, but now you can actually do it on the app. So anything and everything that you would normally have to pick this thing up, right, and do this, right, you can now do on the app, including bringing in a database. And we were talking earlier, and Lisa, I'll let you talk about this for a second while I hacked the hell out of trying to find the emails and stuff like that. But we were talking about, productivity savings, and, look at that, Jonathan Morse. I don't, great last name. I love your last name, man. Love that last name.
I saw his note. Yeah.
Where efficiency is king. And by the way, Bruce, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, I've been wearing this for 3 years now. You just noticed these type of hats. But anyway, I'd like you, Lisa, while I'm fumbling through this, to basically expand on the efficiency part of this, if you would.
Yeah. So, your note there, Jonathan, efficiency is king. Absolutely. Especially, being able to, oftentimes there's a manager who is getting the job set up for the technicians. So the manager can do, as Steve was demonstrating, go into Excel, make sure everything is labeled exactly as they want it. It's labeled properly, and that exact same database is going to both the tester and the labeling. One, the speed and efficiency of that, but number two, it really eliminates, as you were demonstrating there, Todd, trying to do it manually in the field, who knows what the environment's like, what the lighting is like. You run into potentially, fat fingering something and something's mislabeled. That creates all sorts of other problems. That can imagine the time that takes to try to go back and figure out where that error occurred. So just the efficiency and the time savings of figuring out one time, it's done the way the manager wants the job done, and it's pushed to the printer and the tester. It's
Well, you got to test and you got to label. I mean, those are two things that you have to do,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah,
There's different.
something else. Yeah, you reminded me of something else too, Todd, when you were talking about serialization. So I serialized that CSV file, but just so the users know, it doesn't have to be a serialized list of labels. It could be 6, 10, 20 different labels, not even serialized, that you're going to import. And that's kind of where that using that CSV file really comes in handy, because it's easy to serialize them, typing them into the tester. But using the CSV, you could put anything in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it does have to be a CSV, by the way. All right, it cannot be an Excel or whatever
Yep.
Excel they're using now, and we'll go through that in a second. So earlier, Stephen, you emailed me that email. So Kate, if you could put the phone back up on the screen, and I'm gonna try and go through this. I spent last weekend, because I don't have a life, but I spent last weekend going through this entire app, everything in this app, and it's something new, and I want to make sure that it's very, very user friendly. And I spent last Saturday and Sunday making notes and lists and stuff like that. So the app is available, and it's a Brother Pro label tool. I available on Android and iOS. There's certain little things that I really like, a lot of things about it. There's a couple of things that I don't, and I'm not going to show you the things that I don't like, because it really doesn't pertain to what the hell we're talking about here today. So anyway, Stephen emailed me the file, right? And so what I'm going to do, and hope to God this works, is that I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to bring up my email, and I got a purchase order. I'm taking the rest of the day off from Dallas. Thank you, Dallas. Appreciate that. All right. So I'm done after this. Oh, here we go. All right. So here's Stephen's email. This thing is lagging. All right. So here's Stephen's email, and I'll try and talk to the lag real go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on what he sent me, and all 6 labels. Whew, I bet you I can do this one. In the upper right hand corner, so I'm using the Outlook app, right? The mail app that comes with the phone by default, right? I love the Outlook app for iOS, but anyway, you have to look for the little symbol up in the upper right hand corner, which is the up arrow. All right, so I'm going to tap on the up arrow, and what we're going to do is we're going to share file via. We're going to save to files. All right, I'm going to hit save. Now we're done with that portion, so I've already saved it. In fact, you know what? I emailed myself another one earlier. Note to self: here is my BS database. All right, I just love that. So I'm going to click on my BS database, and the same thing, upper right hand corner, share, save the file. I'm going to hit. I'm going to hit save. So when I go back into the app itself, here's my app. All right. Here's where you kind of need to follow this, and I'll be doing some videos on, but you've got all these different things that you can do. All right. In this particular case, let's just do some cable wrap. So press the cable wrap button. It gives you some default templates. Not a big fan of them. Right. I personally don't know what all the numbers, what 18 by 38, the underscore EN underscore W. I don't know what they mean. All right. So we'll fix those. But we're dealing with a new cable, and here's the cool part. I'm going to tap new cable. right? Your media size is your tape size that you're using. You can see all the different brother tape sizes there, including our heat shrink and flags and our self-laminating. But in this case, I'm using a 1-inch tape, okay? My layout is going to be either vertical, horizontal. My unit of measure, this is important, right? What are you wrapping, right? Certain diameter, certain circumference, and you can pick all the circumferences and the diameters and stuff like that, but I'm going to pick Cat 6A, okay? I want to repeat the text, and the reason why I want to repeat the text is that as you wrap that around the cable, you want to be able to look at it from every angle. As an example, I'm 6'6". Hi, Chuck. And Bruce Page is about 5'1". So I'm looking down at the cable, and Bruce is looking up this way. All right. You want to be able to see that identifier from any angle. All right. So again, that repeat text is crucial. All right. So I'm going to hit done. All right. I want to connect the database. I'm going to select the CSV file. All right. There's Steve's BS labels. There they are. Boom. Done. Okay. Now, don't worry about the cross, unless you want to do cross IDs or add a particular pair, blah, blah, blah. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to click done. Now, it is important. First line is a header. Let's say you send yourself a CSV file and it's got the words BS written on the first line. Make sure you check that first line as header, right? In this case, we don't, all right? Now, you notice there's still there's not crap on my screen. It still says text 1, text 2, blah, 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 blah. You want to assign. And here's where it gets really cool is that if you have multiple columns, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a 1-column guy, right? Yep. An AEM is a 1-column system, right? But yep. Let's say hypothetically that you have a larger database, right? And you just need to do general labeling, and aside from your testing, you got some other areas that you want to label, and you send yourself a database with 10 columns, right? The cool thing about this assign button, tapping assign, is that you see where it says field here, right? I've only got 1 column. So I'm going to select my 1 column. Now, if you had multiple columns, when I would tap on that, it would bring up the multiple columns. So you can actually, and get, this is a big word for me. You ready? Concatenate, within the actual app. All right. And so you can select different columns to pull from, but watch this. Now I got my damn label. So now I've got everything I need on my label. All right. All the information's there. And when I hit print on this thing, right, you're using, in this case, the 900W, you got your half cut, everything else. All right. But it gets better, folks. So I'm going to discard my changes. All right. I'm going to go back. Typically in a rack environment, right, you have 3 components, right? You have 4 components. You can label the rack, you can label the patch panel, right? But you got to label the ports, and you got to label the everything on the backside. So we showed you just now how to do cable wraps, but let's say I got a patch panel, all right? So again, it's got these templates, which don't worry about those. We want a new patch panel. The media size, no, I'm not going to use a 1-inch. It's typically a 3/8 inch. All right. Your port spacing. What Brother gives you inside of each of these units back behind me is a patch panel ruler. This is the crucial part of doing a patch panel. You have to measure your port spacing, because if you're off, then when you get down to number 6 or number 8 or 16 or whatever you're doing, you're going to be off. Right. So use our patch panel ruler to measure your port spacing. And then number of ports. Most patch panels come in what we 6-pack, right? You got your first 6, second 6, third 6, fourth 6. There's modular patch panels out there that come in packs of 4. Some of the high density panels come in 8-packs, right? So in this case, I'm going to put the normal patch panel, which is 6. You can select what delineator that you want in between there. as well. You can also do a reverse patch panel. I love a reverse patch panel. If I'm on the back of a 7x19 and I'm trying to find, you know, stuff on the backside, I love the idea of doing a reverse patch panel, right? And I know exactly where I am on the back of that. I can't preach that enough, but anyway, that's entirely up to you. When I hit done, all right, I'm going to connect the database again. I'm going to connect the CSV file, but in this case, all right, I'm going to go with a much bigger database. Oh, so I'm going to click on here, whatever. Now look at all my data. I've got a ton of data right here, just 48. Here's the important part of this. And this is an Easter egg I found in this app, all right? You have to tap this right here, right? Again, I'm going to take that off there, but you have to tap it. If you don't, it's not going to populate that patch panel. And I don't know why the hell it doesn't do that. I'll be honest with you. I just don't know yet. But anyway, you have to tap that. And I found this by mistake. But anyway, I'm going to hit done. And there I am. Look, I'm all done. And here's all my data. So anyway, that's it. So the beautiful thing is that you can take that data that Steve sent me earlier, right? And you can use it for your patch panels, your cable wraps, your faceplates, your flags. If you want to do an old school 110, you can do it. But the beautiful thing is that same data that was loaded into the test unit can now be used for any labeling out there. And what I like about, you know, the way that you guys do it, Lisa and Stephen, is that it's a one column system. It makes everything so easy. All right. So for somebody that really isn't inclined and doesn't know the app that well, it's very easy for them to do. Now, does it mean that you can go beyond just a one column system? Sure you can, absolutely. But I like the idea of the way AEM does it because it's simple. It's simple. And you're really killing two birds with one stone, right? The old days, right, Stephen? Lisa, you'd have to sit there and either manually type in stuff into your tester.
Yep.
And into the printer, which is very time consuming. Now you're generating your database for the AEM unit, the tester, and you're using that same database to do both. And you never have to pick this up until you turn the power button on, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So again, it works very well. So what I just did, we are going to come out with some instructions, and there's going to be some marketing material on this, and I hope to have it by Bixie so we can hand this stuff out. Lisa, I love the idea that you touched upon the efficiency. Everyone on this webcast or whatever the hell it is, everyone watching wants to be more efficient.
Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm.
Yep.
Right?
Time is money.
Time is money, absolutely. And, you know, AEM will help you do that. Brother will even take it the next step further because, again, you got to label, you got to, you got to test it. You know, so these are must-haves that you have to do. So why not make your life a lot easier? And so one of the things I mentioned, let's see, AEM. So we got somebody on AEM. I'm looking at the messages. Peaky Blinders, no, that was Chuck. Hi, oh, Gray Bar. Oh, look at another Morse on here.
I saw that.
Wow,
man, you know, it's a very common name. Very common name. Very, you know, you thought Smith or Jones was common. You know, look at all this. You know what? I was telling everyone earlier, and you know how vain I am, guys. But I actually shaved for the first time since I got back, and it looks like I got most of that on here. But anyway, I really, before we go, Lisa, is there anything new and exciting that you want to mention about AEM or any promos you want to do at Bixie? And again, these may be for that time frame alone at Bixie, but is there anything going on with AEM that the audience needs to know about?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I do want to touch one thing more on efficiency, and Steve, you'll chime in here. So when Steve, you were demonstrating the saving, you know, you were seeing the label and you were hitting save, doing your next test, seeing the label, hitting save. We can also put the tester in a mode of autosave. So you're literally just plug, plug, plug. You don't even have to see it. Hit the save button. It just goes. That saves a few minutes. A few minutes on every run adds up. Continuing that, one main can talk to many remotes. So when we think about even getting the job done even faster, put one person in the closet and a few guys leapfrogging each other out in the office area. You're increasing your speed.
That's not a pretty picture. That's not, you know what? It's not a pretty picture.
I know, you know what? I do need to watch what I say when I'm online.
Gotta be careful with Todd.
Anyway, you get the idea. Anything you want to add to that, Steve, before I jump into Bixie?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So yes, we actually are launching a very cool BOGO promotion at Bixie. Buy one, get one. You have to come to the booth to find out what the buy one, get one is. But it is very compelling, awesome promotion. Again, booth 820. Grab a beer, glass of wine, whatever the munchies are. And we're literally right there next to that area. So swing by. We're also going to have the Brother Printer at the booth. And I think you guys also have our tester on your booth. So if you folks want to see this live, swing by either booth and we'll be happy to show it to you.
Absolutely. And again, you know what, we thought we covered all the gamuts. You know, we do have it there, and we're going to have Tom on, and I'm going to talk about this. But again, you know, it all started with AEM. You know, this is the originator. You guys are the OGs, right? You guys are my guinea pigs when we started all this stuff, and actually, you know, the stuff I don't have on my. I'm so pleased that this app even works much better. Todd, at the end, if you want to mention the Morse code, absolutely. So anyway, Kate's yelling at me. So we're a little bit over time, but you know what? Hey, this is good. This is good quality stuff. And we're going to go through the contacts at the end of this. And but anyway, I look forward to seeing both of you at Bixie. I'll be hanging out at doing the 420, 820. But I'll be there. Food and beer, you betcha, I'm there. So I look forward to seeing you and sitting down with you and talking a little bit more. It's always a good time. We had so many views from that last Bixie show. It was fantastic. But thank you very much for coming on and spending your morning / afternoon with me.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you. Take care of y'all. So we're going to talk a little about, we're going to show some contact info. Kate is saying the Morse code email. All right. I had no idea what the hell this email was really. Well, me and Kate talked about it, but anyway, until I started getting these emails back from people, either saying, leave me the hell alone, or interested, or whatever. And I'm like, God, this is kind of strange. But anyway, we're sending out emails now. And we're talking about efficiency. And so what happens is Kate just sent me a new batch yesterday, and I go through these and I talk about efficiency and labeling and how to be more productive out there. Thanks, Bruce. You know, so look for it. Don't put them in your junk box. Don't delete them. There's some really good info in there. The Morse code emails, and it's weekly. And you can also reach out to Todd to subscribe to the emails. Yeah, reach out to me. All right. I don't know how the hell I'll work with Kate on subscribing to the emails. I'll just forward them to Kate. I don't know how that stuff works, but anyway, reach out if you want to get on board with the Morse code emails. Right. There's a form on bswithtodd.com too. All right, so go to www.bswithtodd.com. There's a form on there to sign up for the Morse code emails. They're actually really good. All right, years of experience in labeling, and I really can't help you. I feel somewhat confident for the most part. Here's a contact info for Lisa and Steve. All right. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about AEM and how the collaboration works, right? If you have an AEM unit and you have some other crappy printer out there and you want to see the light and go with brother, then any of us on this call today can help you to make you more efficient out in the field. So reach out to Lisa and Steven. Again, thank you very much. Kate, what do we got next? We got the QR code. No, we don't. All right. BS with Bixie. February 7th, right? 5-ish p.m. And this thing's going to go probably for an hour. I got some great guests on board lined up to sit down with me. It's always a fan favorite. And then we have our Bixie recap. I think we got over 140,000 views on the Bixie recap. And then softing, March 9th, Mr. Tom Jello, my good friend, Tom Jello. And Tom, I'll see you at Bixie as well. But we're going to go over how it works, and it works a little bit different with softing, all right, than it does with AEM, but you end up with the same result, which is increased productivity. All right, so my YouTube channel, holy crap, unbelievable this, and I know nothing about this YouTube stuff, all right. I remember we were getting close to 4,000 subscribers just several weeks ago, and I went on Facebook. Of course, Facebook is for old farts now, right? It's not for the young kids. And I was groveling. I needed a couple more to get to 4,000 just a couple weeks ago. I think as of yesterday, there was over 11,000 subscribers. I don't know how the hell that happened. I really don't. It must be my boyish good looks, my vernacular. I don't know. But anyway, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. I don't know what the hell I get for, thousands, tens of thousands, but whatever, right? But there's some really good info. The whole point is there's 70 something episodes on there. I think there's some nice shorts on there. So take a look at that. Check out the YouTube channel. Take a picture here. So as far as contacting us out in the field, I am in northern San Diego, California, and we just got through with the deluge, and we're drying up out here. The sun's out. There's another morse that just popped on right there. Look at all these morses out here. Holy mackerel! Again, Smith, Jones, and Morse. We know how to procreate, us morses. I'm going to stop right there. But anyway, nonetheless, is that hi Sam? It's good to see you. As always, my younger brother, he gets mad at me when I call him the older brother, and so he's taking me to Europe in later on this year. So I got to be nice to him. So anyway, it's my younger brother Sam on there. Nonetheless, as far as our contact, I'm in northern San Diego. Please call me anytime if you need any more information. You want to sign up for the Morse code emails. I got Mr. Jamie Brook over out in Virginia Beach. I got Mr. Dan Cobb, who sent me a picture this morning out of Wisconsin. Hey, sucks to be you, Dan. He's got 6 feet of snow. Bruce Page out in Marblehead, Massachusetts. Marblehead, Massachusetts. Rob Dawkins out of North Carolina. Craig Robinson in Florida. A little chilly in Florida right now. Craig will be seeing you in a couple weeks. So beware. Anyway, thank you very much. Kate, as always, thank you very much in the background. Look at 45 minutes of this, but it's really good info. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's great to be back. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but it's great to be back, and looking forward to seeing everybody and more on February 7th, 5-ish a.m. Are you kidding? No. 5 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So tune into that. It's gonna be a hootenanny. All right. So thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you from Orlando, Florida. All right. I'm out.